welcome to the deep dive. Life is. It's
Yeah.
beautiful and it's busy, but let's be honest. Sometimes it's just heavy.
So heavy.
And you might have the perfect English for your job, for quarterly reports or your hobbies. But then when you need to talk about how you're really feeling, that vocabulary just isn't there.
That gap is huge, isn't it? The space between like transactional English and emotional English, that's where the real connection happens.
Exactly.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to get into the language and the cultural context for talking about mental health and stress in English.
We're not just reading a dictionary.
No. We're trying to extract a real toolkit. The actual phrases, the idioms, the little things you need to sound, well, authentic.
Yeah, so we're pulling together material that breaks down how to talk about stress, those specific feelings that are sometimes hard to label.
And how to support other people.
Right. And then the language of hope and recovery. We just want you to feel comfortable using these phrases.
Because the last thing you need when you're feeling overwhelmed is to struggle for the right words. It's a part of self-care, really, having this language ready.
So where do we start? The universal feeling.
Let's start with pressure. Everybody knows pressure.
Okay, stress. It's universal. Let's start with the basics. You can just say, I'm feeling stressed today. But that can feel a bit generic. How do we get more specific?
Well, I think we need to categorize it right. The material we looked at points to two really different kinds of stress.
Okay.
First, you have the external stuff. Work, deadlines, expectations.
Something's being put on you.
Exactly. Yeah. And for that, the phrase is, I'm under pressure.
Yeah.
It's clean, it's professional, and it instantly says the cause is outside of you.
So under pressure is about your environment. But what about that internal feeling, when your brain just feels full, it locks up?
That's the other category, internal cognitive overload. And that's where this key trio of phrases comes in. The main one is, I'm overwhelmed. It's not just that you're busy, it's that the amount of stuff, tasks, thoughts, feelings is just too much.
I loved that analogy from the sources, that overwhelmed is when your brain feels full.
It's perfect, isn't it? And the two phrases that go right along with it are, first, I have too much on my plate.
A great metaphor.
A simple food metaphor, yeah. Too many responsibilities. And then the natural result of both of those feelings.
I need a break.
I need a break. These are your go-to actionable phrases for stress.
Let's pause on that for a second, because the cultural context here is so important. In a lot of cultures, talking about this stuff can feel, well, strange, even embarrassing.
Sure.
But in English, especially in work settings now, it's becoming really normal. Why is that shift so important to grasp?
Because it shows what the culture values. And in many English-speaking contexts, talking about your feelings is now seen as a sign of strength, of self-awareness.
Not weakness.
Not weakness at all. It shows you're responsible. You're not ignoring a problem. You're managing it.
So when we use that term mental health, what are we really talking about? Let's make sure we have a clear definition.
Right. It's not just about crisis. Mental health is just your state of psychological well-being, how you feel inside, how you process thoughts, how you handle challenges.
Like physical health, but for your mind.
Exactly. It's the operating system for your mind, and it needs maintenance.
And what's the phrase that shows you're, doing that maintenance?
It's simple, but powerful. I'm trying to take care of my mental health. That sentence just changes everything.
How so?
It shifts the tone from complaining to proactivity. It shows you're aware and you're taking action.
Okay, so that's the big picture. Let's drill down into the vocabulary itself, the building blocks. We know stressed, but what's the difference between, say, being tired and being truly emotionally drained?
Great question. Let's get these core words clear. Tired is physical. Simple. You just need sleep.
Right.
Anxious is that nervous, worried feeling, usually about the future, right? Like before a big exam or a presentation.
And lonely.
That's about emotional connection. You can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely if you're disconnected.
And the big one we mentioned earlier, burned out. How is that different from just being really, really tired?
Burnout is, well, it's a chronic state. It comes from working too hard for too long. You feel empty, you're not motivated. You might even feel a bit cynical about everything.
So it's more than just physical.
Oh, absolutely. It's an emotional and I'd say almost a spiritual exhaustion.
That's a vital distinction. Okay, now let's get into a really key cultural nuance you pointed out. Using soft language. We don't always use the most intense word, do we?
Almost never, actually. Using softening language is Well, it's polite, it sounds more natural, and it keeps the conversation going without causing immediate alarm.
Especially at work or with, casual friends.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start with sadness. Instead of saying something heavy like, I'm depressed, what are the gentler ways to express that?
You'd say something like, I'm feeling a bit down, or maybe I'm in a low mood today. The word bit or low just softens it.
And there's that great idiom.
Ah, yes, the classic, I've been feeling blue lately.
I love that one. It's a bit poetic, but that word lately does a lot of work, doesn't it? It signals that this isn't just a bad moment, it's been going on for a little while.
Precisely. It gives the feeling some context.
Okay, what about anger? Saying I am angry can be pretty confrontational.
Very. So we tend to replace it. Instead, you'd say, I'm frustrated, which means something is blocking you. Or for lower level anger, just, I'm annoyed.
And then there's the word upset. It's so useful, but also a little ambiguous.
It's a fantastic utility word. Upset can mean a little sad, a little angry or disappointed. Your tone of voice and the context tell the real story.
Right. So I'm upset my train is late is very different from I'm upset with you.
Totally different. It's a polite way to signal that something is wrong without being too specific or accusatory right away.
Perfect. And lastly, for worry. Beyond just saying I feel anxious, what's a more conversational way to describe that feeling?
The most natural one is about the action of worrying. You just say, I can't stop thinking about it.
Ah, that's so relatable.
Yeah, it shifts the focus from the internal label to the behavior, which makes it really easy for people to understand.
Okay, that covers our internal world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pivot now. What happens when someone else says one of these things to you? This next section is all about connection and care.
Yes.
How do we respond with comfort and not just jump in with advice nobody asked for?
The single most important thing here is to validate before you do anything else.
Validate, not solve.
Exactly. They need to be heard. So if a friend says they're overwhelmed, the best phrases are short and simple. Things like, that sounds really hard.
I use that one all the time.
It's perfect because it just acknowledges their struggle, or I'm sorry to hear that, and of course, I'm here for you.
Why is I'm here for you
Yeah.
so effective?
Because it's an offer without a demand. You're just making yourself available. Then you can follow it up with, do you want to talk about it?
Which gives them control.
It gives them the choice, yeah. It puts the power back in their hands.
And what about reassurance if you see someone is just pushing themselves way too hard?
Two gentle phrases are key here. First, you're not alone. That directly fights the feeling of isolation that comes with stress.
And the other one.
My personal favorite, take your time. In a world that's always rushing, telling someone to take their time is just, it's an act of kindness. It gives them permission to slow down.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's turn that lens back on ourselves. The language of self-care.
Right. Being kind to ourselves, setting boundaries.
So what are the common ways we talk about that?
It often comes up when talking about your schedule. The classic is, I need some me time.
Me time.
Yeah, it's a clear signal that you need a break from work, from social stuff, from everything, which might lead to, I'm taking a day off to recharge.
Let's talk about that word recharge. It feels very modern.
It is. It's that tech metaphor, right? Like
Yeah.
your phone, your energy isn't infinite. You have to plug yourself back in to get your energy back.
And how do we talk about setting boundaries?
The phrase is often, I'm learning to say no. I like that one because the word learning admits it's a process. It's not easy.
It's a skill you build.
Exactly. And there's that other great structure for talking about relaxing activities.
Ah, yes. X is my therapy.
Yes, running is my therapy or cooking is my therapy. It's a common sort of cultural shorthand. It means this activity helps you relax and process things without suggesting you're actually in, formal therapy.
Okay, that's a perfect transition. Let's take a deep breath and move into those heavier topics we mentioned. Specifically, the language around anxiety and burnout.
Right. So with anxiety management, the language often shifts from just describing the feeling to describing the action you take.
What do you do about it?
Yeah. So you might hear, I take deep breaths to calm down. Or a more sophisticated one is, I try to stay present.
Stay present.
Uh-huh.
That's the opposite of anxiety, really.
It is, isn't it? Anxiety lives in worrying about the future. Saying, I try to stay present means you are actively pulling your focus back to right here, right now.
Okay, and let's go back to burnout. We need phrases that really capture that deep, deep exhaustion beyond just, I feel burned out.
The best idioms for this are about having nothing left. The big one is, I'm running on empty.
Like a car with no gas.
Exactly. You have zero emotional or physical fuel left in the tank. Another good one, very concise, is simply, I'm drained. Like all the energy has just been pulled out of you.
And it's so important to remember the point from our sources.
Yeah.
Using these phrases helps legitimize the feeling. It's not about being lazy,
No, it's about having been strong for too long. This language validates that struggle.
which is the first step toward getting better.
Absolutely.
Which brings us perfectly to the language of hope, of rebuilding after a tough time. What are the phrases we use for that?
Here, the focus moves to resilience and taking small steps. You might
Yeah.
say, I'm trying to stay positive, or I believe things will get better.
Standard, but important.
But the most crucial one, I think, used so often in any kind of recovery is one day at a time.
That phrase is almost a survival strategy, isn't it?
It is. It's a mental safety net. It means you stop worrying about next month or even next week. You just focus on getting through today.
Breaking it down into manageable pieces.
Exactly. I'm not going to think about that huge project. I'm just going to answer this one email, one day at a time.
And what about when you're starting to feel better? How do you recognize that progress?
You use that reflective phrase, I'm proud of how far I've come. It's about looking back and acknowledging the journey.
That's a powerful one.
So,
Okay, let's finish our toolkit with the language of healing. The worst is over, but you're still in the process. How do we talk about that?
we use verbs that show it's an ongoing process, not a destination. Words like recovering, getting better, and finding balance.
Finding balance, I like that.
And maybe the most emotionally sophisticated one is, I'm learning to let go.
What does that really mean, to let go?
It means you're accepting what happened in the past, whatever caused the stress, and you're actively choosing to move on without it weighing you down.
And for a friend who's in that process, what are the strongest words of encouragement?
Keep it confident, simple and direct. You'll get through this. Keep going. And that important reminder, you've come a long way.
It's about acknowledging their strength.
Acknowledging their strength and expressing confidence in their future.
So as we wrap all this up, this has been an incredible emotional toolkit.
I think the main lesson is, learning this vocabulary isn't just about sounding more fluent. It's about becoming more emotionally competent.
We covered so much, from simple stress phrases to
Gentle language for big feelings, those support phrases like I'm here for you, and then the language of hope, one day at a time, I'm running on empty.
and this is where it gets really interesting. The language you choose to use actually starts to shape how you feel. When you practice that positive self-talk, when you tell yourself, I am enough or I am doing my best, you're building your English skills and your emotional resilience at the exact same time.
And that's the core of it all. I mean, the sources kept coming back to this idea that vulnerability and hope have to live side by side.
Right.
So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with is this. It kind of summarizes the whole purpose of our deep dive. It's okay not to be okay. And it's also okay to smile again.
That balance, that's everything. We really encourage you to take one of these phrases this week and use it, either for yourself or for someone else. You're doing great.
And you are not alone. Until next time, keep speaking English with heart.